United and Spurs keeping the Halloween vibes going with a proper dead game that only really sparked a life in the last sort of 10 minutes. The fact that was a battle for second place shows where this league is right now, because neither team really wanted to win that game. We both set up in a sort of mid to low block, asking the other team, right, go on then, break us down. United eventually did in that first half. From the first shot on target, United got their goal. You're thinking, right, come on then, let's build on that. We had a couple of little sparks in the counter in the second half, but the way we set up in that second half, just completely just avoiding any real sort of possession play, just playing on the edge of our own box, you're always going to be asking for trouble. Spurs didn't do a lot. They had a very good bit of attacking play by Tell to get the first goal. Then all of a sudden then United are proper on the back foot, because they, especially when we go down to 10 men. But the way we set up in that second half was pitiful. Go and really attack this Spurs team. They were there for the taking. The fact that we had to rely on a last-minute equaliser from Ligt, it should never have got to that stage in the first place. Glad we did, because we deserved something from it. But I don't think either team deserved to win, because neither team really had the balls to really go and grasp that game by the scruff of the neck. We're going to go through my 5 talking points from it, guys. As always, drop a like if you enjoy, subscribe if you're new around here, and let's get into it.
Let's go.
So first off, going to start with the positives, and that's going to be Mbeumo. Even from a more unnatural left-hand side, he was still running most of what was good for United. And the stuff that United are asking him to do, they're asking him to do a bit of everything. They're asking him to bring it down when Lamens is kicking it long. They were asking him to drop deep and link up play at times as well. Then obviously he was there when United needed him in that box to get that goal. So he was literally involved in everything for us. Just shows really how good this guy is, that even from that unnatural side, he can still pull out a performance like this. Really didn't understand in that second half why we kept him on that left-hand side. When you're bringing on Seshko, putting Cunha deeper, why not put Cunha on the left and Mbeumo on the right? That's where they've played all the time at the start of the season. And then Mount comes on, he goes to the right-hand side. Has he ever played on the right for United before? Why do we not just get players in their more natural positions? And that's going to be my second talking point. The subs from AMORIM in this game, again, I've spoken about it before, but they continue just to baffle me.
I don't understand.
These were the lineups from the start and the finish of that game. Luke Shaw was the one player from the United starting lineup, one out of the back 5, who's still in the same position that he started the game in. It was only him and Ligt that stayed, but Ligt was the one that moved from the right centre-back into the centre. So it was only one of our back 5 staying in the same position. That's going to cause some confusion. How are you going to expect solidarity in defence if you keep chopping and changing your players around all the time? When you're sitting, especially in that low block, it just makes such little sense. We brought Ahmad back to put him at right wing back. You saw in the last 10 minutes, Odegaard was having a field day up against him. When you're trying to defend your own box, why put Ahmad at right wing back? He was having a decent game playing further forward. Keep him there. What was the need to change it? And talking about another needless change, that was going to be Dalot on for Dogu. I thought Dogu was having a pretty decent game. Thought he was putting his hand up and saying, well, I should be the left wing back for the future. Going to talk a bit more about him specifically later. But it's just another sort of needless sub that didn't really need to be made. Then all of a sudden then Seshko goes off and you haven't got any subs left because you've already wasted them. And then you've got another one in Casemiro and Ugarte. What is the need to be bringing Ugarte on? We're playing one game a week. You're telling me Casemiro can't last the full 90 minutes? I mean, he was hardly taxed an awful lot with running up and down the pitch. We were defending our own box. Like, Casemiro again was having a very, very good game. I've been really impressed with him to start this season. But what is this thing where we've got to take him off at the 70-minute mark? Like, surely playing one game a week, he can play 90 minutes. And then I've already spoken about it, but the Mbeumo stuff. Why keep him on the left-hand side when you bring in Cunha deep, when you bring him Mount onto the pitch? Just put Mbeumo on the right-hand side, Mount on the left. That's their most natural positions. Why have we got this need for United? It was the same with Ten Hag. You're forcing the square pegs in round holes, and it makes no sense. And thirdly, I want to talk about Casemiro. I think he's been such a solid player throughout the start of the United season. Whenever he's not playing, United dearly miss him. And I just don't understand the need to take him off every time, as I've said. But he does continue to do a bit of everything. And I think him alongside Fernandes, they have sort of settled into that partnership a little bit more. But Casemiro is really, really good in his defensive duties in this game. Also, the line-breaking passes, I think, are really underrated from him as well. think throughout his time at United, his passing has been really, really underrated. I think him and Fernandes have done okay, actually, in the circumstances in the last few weeks for United. I think it's a big reason why we've been a little bit more solid, but I just don't understand the need to take him off. Surely even Casemiro can play the 90 minutes now. And penultimately, I want to talk about Dogu, because I think he had a really solid game. And it was a big test for him, because he's going into this game, and you know that Dalot had a bit of a stinker last week, so United are basically asking him, right, go on then, put your stamp on this game. And I thought he did enough. He's defensively super solid. Dogu is always really solid 1v1. He's not going up against the most tricky of wingers, Brennan Johnson. If he was up against Kudus, then he would have had a much tougher test. But you can only go up against, obviously, what Spurs are playing. Thought Dogu did very well defensively. Offensively is always where he's going to fall apart. Crossing, he does need to work on that. The attacks too often do go to die on that left-hand side. But Dogu does have stuff to work on, we know that. But I think he's always going to be more of a defensive fullback for me. No, people love to talk about how he played on the wing for Lecce and all this sort of stuff, but I just don't see it. For me, he's always going to be a defence-first player. Nothing particularly wrong with that, with the position he's playing. For United, playing him at wing-back is always going to be a little bit more of an ask for him. But for me, him up against Dalot, I would rather see Dogu out there for now, because at least he gives you a little bit more solidarity. Dalot up against Forest last week, him switching off. I mean, for me, I can't handle that. And then lastly, Seshko. You're just simply not going to get the same amount of time in the Premier League that you were in the Bundesliga. And you could see a prime couple of examples of that in this game. He was through on goal a couple of times, and you're just looking at it, right, can you make that decision really quickly? Too often he's taking far too many touches are not good enough, and he's not just getting that shot off really quick enough. I think it does show the amount of time that you do get in the Premier League. It's just not up there with the other leagues, and it takes a little bit of getting used to. Not going to come on you and be as sort of scathing as sort of Neville was in the week. But Seshko, we know, does have a lot to work on. I hope that injury isn't serious, because I do like what he's shown in the opening few weeks of the season. Sort of link-up play and stuff like that, I do think has been really good. But the fundamentals of a striker, when you're looking at some of the strikers in the Premier League right now, Seshko does have a lot to work on. But there we are, guys. Overall for United, a very disappointing display for me. Yes, we come away with a draw away from home. Ordinarily, you'd say, yeah, that's decent. But I don't want to keep accepting these excuses now. We did that up against Forest. Oh, last season we would have lost this game. Like, are we going to say that every single time we don't win? Like United, Spurs were there for the taking. Chelsea did it last week. They were aggressive onto Spurs, really pressed them. Chelsea should have beat them sort of 3-4-0, had tons of chances. United had that one shot in the first half we scored from. And then in the second half then we have a couple of little breaks which Seshko should have done better with. But you're hardly knocking the door down, and you do let Tottenham back into this game. If you're going to play that way, play on the counter-attack, you're always going to allow opposition back into the game. Against Forest, we had a little bit of a brain fart. In this one, we're sort of asking for trouble when you're allowing teams to cross the ball into your box. We just can't keep a clean sheet to save our lives now. Another 2 goals conceded. We're playing a 5-at-the-back system, yet we can't keep the ball out of our net. Seeing loads of people talk about how good United have been offensively. Oh yes, we're so much better than we were last year. So far, I'm really just not seeing that. We're better, yes. We do have better players than we had last year. Are we slightly better in tactics-wise? Yes. But is it wholesale changes that we were really looking for after the shambles that was last season? The standards are so low right now that we can come out to this game and go, well, that was a decent draw, wasn't it? Spurs were there for the fucking taking, and we should have done it. But I, for one, I'm really disappointed with it. Even a draw isn't good enough. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments down below. I'll be doing a full in-depth tactics breakdown tomorrow on the channel, so make sure you subscribe for that one, and I'll catch you there.